was a U.S. citizen, officer in the Army, lieutenant. The Army was his life. He took it so serious, and for the last 2.5 years, it just built him into this tremendous man. He already was the strength of the family, held everybody together. He would come home after sleepless nights in the Army, 2-3 hours of sleep off a bus ride, immediately come into my house in Jerusalem, and what's the first thing he can fix? Can he build a crib for the baby? Can he fix the air conditioner? He built me a house, renovated a full house during his 1.5-week Army vacation last summer. He was just the family man, and was the one that held everybody together. We lost just someone who would have grown up to be a true leader in this country, and I think that's the biggest loss for everyone who knew him and didn't know him. But he had so many goals, and he was already involved in politics and building, and he had already lined things up for after the Army. He was going to be a real leader and change things. And one of the scariest things was my mother-in-law and him would have dialects about a day like this that could come, where he could be killed in action. And it bothered her, and they spoke openly about it. And she expressed her fear for it, and his answer was that if the day would come, I'll accept it with love, because it means they'll be dying Kiddush Hashem, serving to protect our people, and that's who he was. The family, the family of Enter, the Goloventz's family is just true Zionist family of Israel. The day that David was taken, Shimon, my father-in-law, returned on a Nefesh B'Nefesh flight that brought Olim back from New York. That evening, he was told the news that his son died in action defending this country. Just a family that only does good, that helps people. And David was just an angel, and everything was always family first, family first. The Army really, I mean, over the last few months, just see him as a different person. He was always strong and knew what he wanted to do, but it just built him into this leader, this real leader, and he was so happy. He would just come home, he would tell us that, you know, he had 3 hours of sleep, but it meant nothing to him, and he would just come in full force, throw his all of his gear in the door, and then right away change into clothes. Dad, what's the next thing I can do to help? Where can we go? What can I do to help you? He just spoke the truth. I mean, I think that he would come in and he wasn't afraid to tell somebody he was wrong, even if it was his senior officers. And that's I think a trait that they ultimately really loved about him, is that even though there's a hierarchy and you can't talk up, you know, David would never, if he felt something was wrong and he was given the wrong thing to do, he would let them know. And I think one of the things that his superior officer mentioned at the funeral, which is tremendous and tells exactly who David is he did something, spoke up out of line, and the officer had to punish him. Told him, David, you're going to have to remain for Shabbat. And David said, with love. The officer said he's never heard anything like that in his life, and that summarizes David, is that truth, happiness, and just a true leader. He's just a true brother and fatherly figure. I think we all looked up to him. And we would advise and counsel him. He had such plans and aspirations. I mean, he was already telling us the 12 children he would have, his wife, how she would sit and do nothing except raise the kids, and unfortunately he's not gonna have that. But he would have been someone huge, and it's just a tragedy, I think, to the Jewish people, in the sense that he's no longer with us, because he would have been someone that would have changed this country and changed the Jewish people. It's not just a cliche, but it's really how everyone feels about him. Just the loss of a brother and a fatherly figure.